I'm meteorologist Brian Peters with a look at your Alabama weather for this Tuesday with the Weather Xtreme video. Our surface map still features high pressure at the surface, extending along the southeastern U.S. and extending along the Gulf Coast from the southwestern Atlantic all the way over to Texas and actually continuing on up into the western states. In the upper atmosphere, that big ridge that we've been watching that has been well to our west is beginning to nose into the lower Mississippi River Valley, and that feature is going to be the primary feature we'll be dealing with for the next several days. Temperatures this morning starting out on a pleasant note, a little bit warmer than we've seen for the last several days, with temperatures generally in the lower 60s for the most part. Some spots just a little bit warmer than that. Our watch warning map is relatively quiet, but we do have a number of excessive heat warning and heat advisories over in the western states with that big ridge. If you want the forecast quick and dirty, the QPF really shows it to you quickly here. Looks like we're not going to see much rain for the next 5 days. This runs out through around the first thing on Sunday morning. And if anything, it looks like probably Sunday, Monday might be the best time frame for some showers for the southeastern U.S. Storm Prediction Center for day one has a slight risk in a band that extends all the way from western North Dakota down into extreme western Illinois, and then another band from extreme western Kentucky across Virginia to the mid-Atlantic states. For day two, moderate risk centered in an oval primarily on the southern part of Lake Michigan or perhaps Chicago. And it looks like the main risk for storms that day is going to be large hail. And then the slight risk area extends over into the mid-Atlantic states on day three. And the tropics are now much quieter. The National Hurricane Center issued the last advisory on Danielle this morning, so no longer a concern. All right, let's get to the 068 GFS model run this morning, and there's that ridge beginning to nose in. Notice the 594 height contour nosing into eastern Mississippi, and it looks like that front coming from the north will not make it all the way down here. Perhaps into Tennessee, you may see some showers, but I think Alabama stays dry. The 594 height contour bulges all the way over to the southeast coast of the U.S. and actually extends just about from coast to coast on Wednesday. And we see that definitely in there on Thursday as well as we continue to warm up with highs getting into the mid-90s. The 594 contour is still there on Friday. Now, that's when we begin to see some changes. We do have a front, once again, that comes down into the southeastern U.S., or at least it comes close to the northern edges of the southeastern U.S., but it doesn't really get here. And then on Saturday, we're beginning to note some changes. First of all, Saturday could be our hottest day because that closed low coming into the Dakotas is actually going to help to boost up the ridge over the eastern half of the country. So we may see our hottest day yet on Saturday as we see highs across central Alabama in the upper 90s. And the front kind of washing out, so just only a very small threat for any kind of rain. As that big closed low moves closer to the western Great Lakes, the ridge bulges up into New England, producing some warm weather up that way. And then Monday, we begin to see that closed low coming through the Great Lakes, beating back the ridge, kind of beating it back into submission and getting it back over into the western U.S. And that system will also be dragging a front that should be coming down into the lower Mississippi River Valley. So it looks like by Monday we should see some relief with more clouds as well as the possibility that we'll see more widespread shower activity. And that system to our north continues to move across the eastern part of Canada, and that continues to keep that front in our area. So it looks like Monday and Tuesday may be the better days for having some precipitation. Going out into voodoo country, I don't know if you looked at the video yesterday, but we had an interesting pattern. It looks like we stay away from any really excessive heat as we look at July the 1st, Friday, July the 1st. We certainly have a little bit of a ridge over Florida, a little bit of a upper high pressure, but we also have that little system that is kind of coming through the ridge to our northwest, And that helps to actually produce a closed low. Now, if you saw yesterday, we had a huge closed low that just looked terribly anomalous. And indeed, this one looks a whole lot more realistic with, yes, a closed low over the lower Mississippi River Valley, but not nearly as strong as what the GFS was indicating yesterday. And that certainly, July 6th here, would give us at least some break in the heat. That'll do it for the Weather Xtreme video for this morning. I'll have the next one posted 7 to 7:30 on Wednesday morning. In the meantime, you can always check back on the blog for notes on Alabama's weather. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Have a great day and Godspeed.